Welcome to part 10. Now I realized I misspoke at the end of part 9 and we actually haven't built out our members and our log out controllers yet, so we need to make sure we do that. One other thing that I almost missed as well is we need to set two session variables after successful login. And we need to set those because if you look at our authorization object and you check our check login status function, you notice it checks for a logged in session variable. So let's go ahead and quickly add that. So session, first one I'm going to set is a username, and I will set that to the get data input user. So just in case we want to reference the username elsewhere when the user is logged in, this might be a good one to have. And the other one we want to set is session logged in. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and now let's go ahead and work on the members and log out controllers. So on members.php, we can go ahead and remove just about everything except for our include and the template load. So instead of loading our model, which was just test code earlier, we want to include our initialization.php file. And we need to do a check to make sure the user is authorized in order to access this page. So add a quick comment. So we're going to do that with if, and we're going to access the authorization object and use the check login status function. So if that returns false, we know the user isn't authorized, and we're going to go ahead and use template set alert, and we'll display a message to the user indicating that they're unauthorized. And we will, template redirect, and we'll redirect them back to the login.php page. Now if they are authorized, so I'm going to do an else, we want to display the members view. Like so. So that's good. And the final thing we want to do is work on the log out controller, this one. And this one is pretty simple. We just want to start with an opening PHP tag, if I can spell that. Let me go back to our members controller and simply copy and paste everything. Like that. We do want to include our init.php. However, the next thing that we want to do is log out. So to do that, we're going to call our authorization object. Whoopsie. So auth log out. So that'll handle the logging out portion. And then we want to redirect the user. So I'm going to do template, and I'll first set an alert, letting the user know they've been successfully logged out. And finally, template redirect. And we'll redirect back to login.php. Okay, and just to briefly go back over this, if you go to the template, or actually the authorization object, remember how I said we need the session start immediately following session destroy? Well, this session start, if we go back to logout.php, allows our set alert function to work properly. If we didn't have a session start after that, this set alert would never be it wouldn't work and it wouldn't show up on the login.php page. So let's go back to login and let's make sure everything is working as it should. So I'm going to refresh the page. Let's test this with invalid information. Let's try to access the members.php page, and you'll notice it does kick us out to login.php and it tells us we're unauthorized. And let's log in with correct information. And you'll notice we do get, well, with the exception of this header, which we would need to fix, we do get a proper welcome message, and we've been successfully logged into the members area. And you can click log out, and you've been successfully logged out. So I believe that wraps up this tutorial, with the exception of this, which we would need to fix. This would need to be members. Like so. And I believe that wraps it up for this tutorial. So thank you for listening. I hope you found it useful. Obviously there's a lot more that we could put into this tutorial, and I may definitely add videos in the future. Just depends what people ask for and what people might find useful. I mean, it really just depends on what you want this application to do. If it is the basis for something much larger, you could definitely expand it, add additional objects. Perhaps you could have a form validation object that would handle everything that dealt with form validation. You might consider using prettier URLs and using an htaccess file to redirect everything through the index.html page, and having PHP automatically figure out, based on the URL, what controller you need to access. So, like I said, there's a lot of possibilities, but hopefully this is enough to get you started and give you a feel for how to work with MVC and object-oriented style programming. So please feel free to contact me on the Killer Sites forums, where I go by the username Ben, or by email, ben@killersites.com. So if you have any questions or comments, things that confuse you about the video series, things that you want added to the video series, let me know, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for listening.